excited.
Yeah.
We're about to shoot like a little Q&A. But y'all know we can't have a Q&A without switching it up. No?
What?
Switching it up. That wasn't the one?
Okay.
I had to switch up like the questions that
we pray for her. She
Yeah,
part of the prayers, guys. You know the prayer video?
That was for me?
It was for her, even though she was in the video.
Yeah, like
Literally.
I was really praying
towards
for her when I was turned this way. I remember that.
That's how I was feeling the prayer in some type of way.
No, yeah.
I
Because
knew
it was,
right.
it was
It was
for
for
you.
you.
I knew it was for me.
That's really crazy.
It was.
Guys, I just thought of that
What's
right now.
That's crazy. So, I lined up some questions for us because I'm sure these people are like, okay, who are y'all?
Yeah.
And lucky, even if nobody's asking, we're about to tell you.
But yeah.
No, mind you.
They don't care.
Nobody
Okay, I'll tell you anyways. So, I wrote down some questions. Are y'all ready?
Maybe.
Sir,
Okay.
I think.
It's about to get
I
real.
already know, bro.
All right. So first, let's start off by like introducing ourselves because I feel like if people are coming on our channel, because we got like some subscribers after the worship,
Low-key.
the opening prayer.
Okay.
Maybe
Shout
they
out
see
to
the
y'all.
intro.
Yeah.
Thank you for subscribing.
I appreciate y'all.
We appreciate
Special place right
appreciate y'all
Appreciate.
In the heart.
for the many times of support.
What?
They really supported one time.
And
Y'all need help. And I'm the
No,
one
it's
that needs
really
help.
It's really
I'm the
both
one
of
that
them.
needs
I
help.
just be
Yeah.
chilling.
That's sickness.
anyways, we are great.
No.
Okay.
No. We're gonna introduce ourselves.
There we go.
So
We will.
let's
Which
start off with you because I feel like you always go like last.
Whatever.
What's your
Anyways,
name?
my name is drumroll, please.
No.
That is so mean. Anyway, they're so mean to me. Anyways, my name is Fumi here. I am Fumi Olatunji.
Feel me?
What else am I supposed to be saying?
Just that's it. Who are you?
I didn't know. Well, my name is Fumi, guys. The best one here.
That's pride.
No,
That's
it's
what
not.
that is.
That's fine. It is.
Pride.
It's I'm
It's not from God.
confident.
Come on. That's how you feel?
His
You
faithfulness.
know you're a worship leader one.
will see me through all
Come
the
on.
pain that they're causing me right now.
Ooh,
Funny.
that lucky sounded good. Like,
Might have to
and you
see
lucky
some.
ate.
Sound good.
You lucky ate that.
Yeah.
I'm Precious. Precious Ademola.
Feel me?
It's just there's nothing more, nothing less to
That's
say.
it.
Sometimes you have to let your name speak for itself.
Hmm.
Next.
I don't know if it's funny, bro.
Hey guys.
The cool guy. The cool
I gotta say
guy.
my name too much, but
You know.
it's Anand Faraji. Living legend. I'm just kidding. Not living. I'm a regular guy.
Y'all don't know about him. He's a living legend.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, regular guy, but shit, you know what I'm saying? It's really these two legends. They just let me be a part.
Like it.
That's what it is.
Okay.
She Afro. Y'all gotta get on. Y'all gotta get her.
Okay.
I am, you know.
So tell me about like how and when you fell in love with worship, and is there a worshiper that inspired you or played a part in your falling in love with worship?
Oh. Go first.
Okay.
That's my boy.
You know what I'm saying? When I really fell in love with worship was probably my sophomore year of high school. And like obviously I was worshiping before then because I've been doing worship since like 5th grade. But it was kind of like, it was a thing to where it was like I didn't really know if that's what I wanted to do like for the rest of my life. And so sophomore year, I was playing basketball and a young man got injured. My leg kind of went.
Was that when you were on the gym?
Yeah.
Will.
I was in a wheelchair. I was stuck in a wheelchair, you know. That was a tough time. But yeah, I got injured during a basketball game, and I was out for 6 to 8 months. I fractured my tibia, and I was kind of. It was kind of like a tough. It was tough for me because basketball was like really my thing. It was like basketball and worship. That was like, they go. I knew at one point that I was gonna have to choose one or the other because sometimes they would like conflict, and so. That it was kind of just a tough time for me because I was thinking, I was like, man, like, yeah, I can't play basketball, but the real thing I missed was worship. And I would always like, I lead worship at Lakewood Church for the ministry, but shameless plug, shout out Lakewood. But every time I would roll in my wheelchair, my sister would push me into sound check, and I would just be like, okay, you can leave me here. And I would just watch them, and I would just be like, dang, like, I missed this. Or like, I'll be in the back because I can't be too close to the front because we'd be going crazy during worship, so I just see anybody jumping on my leg or anything. So I'd be in the back and I'd just be worshiping. And I'm like, wow, I definitely missed this. And like, I was watching a message from Mike Todd when he came to Lakewood, and he said something that it kind of like stuck with me. He said there's something that like obviously like you like to do, but then there's something that God called you to do, and I was like,
That's good.
I said, yeah. I said that's when the realization came. The switch kind of flipped, and I was like, okay. I was like, yeah, this is definitely, and that's when like I kind of just fell in love, and I was like, yeah. Like, of course, I still played basketball throughout high school, but I realized there was a bigger calling on my life, and I realized there's something more that I wanted to do, and so yeah, that's kind of when I knew like this was it. It's right here. And then look at it. If I didn't imagine if I was playing basketball, I wouldn't get to chill with these cool dudes.
Your face.
And
your babe.
So yeah,
that's good.
That's definitely when I realized it for sure.
What about you, Lyle?
Oh, worshiper inspires? Or you want to ask?
Oh, do you have a worshiper that inspires you?
Like
one of the worshiper, one a worshiper. One.
I can't even think of. I think for me probably was my best friend JoJo, because he was the one that started singing before me, and so we became best friends when I was in 4th grade. And so watching him do worship, I was like, okay, I want to do that. And so that's probably who he really like motivated me to like just fall in love like and like have fun with worship and do it like a fun way, because we used to do kids like worship, and so this is like anywhere from kindergarten to 5th grade, and you know those kids it can be a little tough to get them to jump or like raise their hands for worship, or and so just doing that kind of like there was a beauty in that, because I genuinely enjoyed doing that. And so probably JoJo, because he definitely, I feel like without him I wouldn't be where I am today. So shout out my boy. But yeah, for sure.
What about you?
I don't know if I got what to say, but I'm gonna just keep it short. I think where I got, or what allowed me to fall in love with worship, was leading worship. Because you know, like whenever I started, it wasn't something that I did because I loved it. It was just something I did because I was like, oh, this is cool. Oh, this is this. I remember like it all started with like a feeling. Like I feel like that's how most things start, with a feeling.
For sure.
And I pretty much like, I love worship. Like I love just standing in a room and someone's ministering, and like the worship is just heartfelt, and people are being changed and lives are turning around. I remember it started at obviously my home church, DIC, like in the youth church, where not even way before when Auntie Ronke, I don't know if you guys know her. Her name is Pastor Ronke. Like I just shout out to her. I remember like I always used to watch her like when from time like I think it was like what 10 or something. Like when I used to watch her, I'm like, ooh, like she's a worshiper. Like I'm gonna be like her one day. This, that, and the third. But obviously it wasn't because I loved worship. It was just because I loved what she did up there. So go back to what I was saying before. Pretty much started when I used to minister in the youth church. Like then I started realizing like it was like 4 or 5 years ago where I realized like, oh my gosh, like I really like to worship. Like I really, 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 and it wasn't like that was my calling then or anything like that. Maybe it was, but I didn't tap into that or whatever. So for me, like those times I, get up there and be like, I think Nabisco, like she would lead worship. I'm like, oh my gosh, I want to do this, like this, that, and the third. So I joined the choir finally or whatever, and that's when I started learning like what was truly for me. Like I realized that my passion was it was a lot. Like at that time for that, like I was like, I can't give up on this. Like I would stop schoolwork to do stuff like that. Like I would stop everything else just to make a church concert or something like that, because I'm like, this is where my heart is. Like always follow your heart at the end of the day, because that's God talking to you. Most of the times, like I don't like to use my head to think, but I like to use my heart to think, because that's where God speaks to, like your heart. So pretty much at that time, I'm like, okay, like I know this is something that I want to do. Obviously, SafeHaven gave me more purpose and stuff. Like it made everything way more clearer than it was before. But since then, I pretty much knew like this is what this is what I love to do, and this is what I can see myself doing for the rest of my life. A couple of worshipers that do inspire me, because I don't only have one. Chandler Moore, shout out to Chandler. Like he is a radical worshiper.
Is that so?
Number 2.
Yeah.
Ryan Ofe from Campus Rush. He, oh my gosh, the power of God is on his life. And lastly, obviously my favorite, Stephanie Gretzinger. She is no words.
Sure.
And that's it, guys. Yeah.
Sure. I'm gonna keep mine short and sweet so that we're not here all day. What was the I don't know what question
It's
I
gonna be
asked.
short. It's a
How and
question.
when? Okay.
It's gonna be short.
I think it is. I think because I mean, there's not really much to say. Like, I mean, there's a lot, but it's okay. I'm not gonna go through my whole life story in this video.
For sure.
I think worship has always been something that's been spoken over my life for a very long time. Like, I think a lot of people have always told me in different ways that, you know, I'd be a worship leader or I would be in worship and whatever. And I was like, yeah, cool, whatever. I was like, no, I think I'm gonna leave that to the, you know, the other ones, the ones that like they can actually do it. But I didn't actually fall in love with worship until I reached a place where I was desperate, and I found that there was so much liberation to be found in just opening up your mouth and singing.
Yeah.
And I love to write. Like, that's just like one of my favorite things to do. And I found that like literally worship for me, I'm a spontaneous worshiper, like I always say. I get to mix my two loves. So my love for just like singing to the Father and ministering to Him, and then writing. And that's where like spontaneous worship comes in, because it's like you can't even think, you just do. And I found that like I fell in love with it when I understood that that was the best way that I could communicate with God, and He could communicate back to me. So that's what made me just really fall in love with it, and just what could be done and how much freedom you could feel when you're in the presence of God. So I just fell in love with that, and I fell in love with just wanting other people to feel that freedom and liberation as well. So I think honestly a person that really played a huge part in that, like during that time where I was just desperate and didn't really understand the call on my life, and I just thought like, okay, y'all are just saying that because y'all heard me sing, like, you know, like Stephanie for sure, like Fumi mentioned, like Stephanie made me understand like, wait, there's more there's more to this than just a voice. There's more, like there's something that she has tapped into that has given her so much freedom in the presence of God that I want to see. Like she's such a like shameless worshiper, and I fell in love with that. And that was when I like tapped deeper into like, what is this? What does it mean? And then that was when I discovered David, and I really tapped into his life as well. So I would say all of that, like obviously, like I said, it's a longer story, but for today's video purposes, just when I understood what could happen when you just opened up your mouth, like I understood the power of worship. Worship is powerful. That's gonna be another video, the power of worship. Like, there's so much power in that. But to round it up, y'all know I have to throw in this question because, like, you know, I have to. Why did y'all join SafeHaven? Okay.
Why SafeHaven? Well, I mean, because SafeHaven is pretty much my why. I don't know, like, it sounds like, oh my gosh, but it's my why. Like, I know what I was called to do in this life, and I know, like, that this is where I live and breathe, like, what God has asked me to do. Is where obviously, maybe not the only, but I'm not sure about that one, but then again, like, I know this is something God ordained for me in my life, in my lifetime. So that's pretty much why, like, because that's the call on my life. So yeah.
I think for me.
Oh wait, sorry.
I'm good.
I am a big, like, I love allowing. I guess bringing people into worship is something I really, really, really enjoy doing. Seeing other people worship God, however, whatever, whomever, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, bringing people into the presence of God for me, just, it feels like a breath of fresh air, because I know that other people can experience also what I'm experiencing in my life, as even because worship is more than just what you do on stage. Like, it's pretty much what you do in the secret place. So, like, seeing people do that, seeing people raise their hands, seeing people crying, seeing people sit on the floor, whatever it is, like, that's what brings me joy and fulfillment in this life. So that's pretty much why I joined. That's
good. I think for me, whenever Precious was like giving us the vision for SafeHaven, and like the big emphasis on it, just creating safe spaces for people to want to like look for God and worship God, that was a big thing for me, I think, because I I think a lot of times, like, so for me personally, when I've led worship, I lead worship at Lakewood Church. And so there's always, like, obviously since it's a bigger church, there's always people who are going to be, like, you know, at the front or, like, even, like, a little bit behind the front who are always going to want to, like, worship and, like, just pour their hearts out, which is amazing to see. But then there's always going to be people who are, like, kind of in the back. And I think and obviously there's no problem with that, but I think kind of just, like, if I want people to feel safe, like to feel they can be as vulnerable as they want to be whenever we worship. And with that being like the main focus, I feel like it's only right that that I'm here and just being able to get those opportunities to keep doing that, you know. And I think when we had our first worship night, that was like the biggest thing, was like just seeing people who would get on their knees, seeing people who were, you know, turned against the wall, like seeing people crying. And it's like knowing that like that's none of us, like that's not any of our doing, that's all God. And I think just obviously I knew I wanted to do it before then, but like once I saw that, I was like, man, like this is really like this is the vision. Like this is really what we wanted to do, just to give people an area and like where they can forget all their fears, anything that they're stressed about, whether it be school, whether it be work, parent situation, mental health. Like I just want them to have a place to come and you can rest that all on the Lord and let Him be able to take all your burdens and all your worries and all your shame that you feel like you have and give that all to Him. And I think being able to do that and being with people who have that same vision makes it a whole lot easier. And just and also just on a practical standpoint, just like the opportunity to be on a team, like I think that's a beautiful thing in itself, like being able to work with people and communicate and people with like different ideas. And just I feel like whenever us three like all come together, I feel like the worship that's always going to be amazing, because like there's not we weren't set here for no reason. Like it's not a coincidence that all three of us are, you know, here and worshipers, and like it's not a coincidence that like we keep doing what we're doing. It's just because like this is, like Fumi said, it's God ordained. So that's my reason.
I love y'all. I love them. Why did I join SafeHaven? Or why was I'm gonna say why was SafeHaven created?
Yeah.
I'll change the question.
There it is.
Really, it's really simple. SafeHaven was created to create a safe place. I think for me, I was always a different kind of worshiper. Like I never felt like I fit in anywhere. Like I could, you know, obviously I could be in different worship teams, and I've been in different worship teams, but I always wanted more because I always knew there was more. I always knew that it was like, okay, this way of worship is cool, but it's like there's something missing. Like not that anybody's don't misquote me. Everyone's doing what they're called to do in like the different worship teams, but I just felt like, God, there's something that you're pulling more out. You want more out of me personally as the individual, and I'm like, I know that I can't be the only worshiper that has a desire to tap into more of what they're called to do, more of what God can do through them. And SafeHaven was just created to give those worshipers a space to just worship in the best way that they see fit, worship in the way that God has called. Because I don't think any of us, we're three different people. Our way of worship is completely different, and I love it. Like I don't want to be a part of a team where we all look alike. Like I don't want to be a part of a team where we open up our mouth and it's the same sound coming out. Like I love the fact that we're all diverse, we're all different, but the one thing that remains is the vision. Like we all want to see a place where people are unashamed. We want to all see a place where it's safe for people. So SafeHaven was just created for that, to create that place where a worshiper can literally, like, reviving the Davidic order of worship, where it's like we're giving God undignified worship, so that through us giving God undignified worship, every single person that comes to the worship nights can be like, this is how it's done. Like I don't have to be ashamed anymore. And worship looks different. So I think SafeHaven was created because of that. Like just to kind of not put a box like on what worship is supposed to look like. And I love
out of stepping out of the box of what worship should be like.
Love that.
Hear this legend. Wow.
Well, y'all. With that being said, this is a lengthy video, but it's okay, y'all. Like y'all be okay.
Y'all can sit down and watch. Y'all
Y'all
at home anyway.
Y'all be sitting down and watching.
Guess
like
what? Be
blessed.
Y'all at home.
As y'all watch this.
Yes. Be blessed as y'all watch this.
We gonna see y'all like tomorrow or something.
Hey.
We gonna see y'all next time, bro.
You feel me? Listen, like when we said, be blessed. Hope you were encouraged. Hope you laughed.
Don't touch me,
Yes.
please.
And
anyways.
if you're inspired.
I don't want to be the regular YouTube guy, but like, feel free to like, comment,
oh, yeah?
subscribe, and don't forget to ring the bell. So you know. You know what I'm saying? And it's been real. Safe Haven Worship. I'm gonna catch you.
We out.
Yeah, let's do that thing that we do that we all
Hold on, where's the? I
You
can't
have
even
to
see
say
the-
that. We could have just done it.
Yay!